In 2014 a show came out called No Game No Life, which is not only regarded as one of the best isekai, but also one of the most popular shows of all time. But is it truly good, or is it just overhyped because of people's crap taste in anime? This video is sponsored by Noxtaku, the most sarcastic anituber in the Anisphere. Check out his channel from the link below. Hey guys, Thomas here. Now, the isekai genre has been getting a pretty bad rep recently, mostly thanks to the oversaturation of the shows, but let's be honest, it doesn't really help to know that 99% of them are rather garbage. But this, for some unknown reason, remains as not only one of the most popular isekai out there, but most popular shows out there. So I want to go back and check if this actually was worth it, or it just did all the cliches first, and wouldn't hold up in today's times. Also, for some of you out there who don't know what isekai means, it just translates into trapped in another world. Honestly, how much would you have to spam something out to create its own subgenre of anime? And bam, this video is now an isekai. No originality needed whatsoever. How the fuck do I get back? The beginning completely messed me up. First of all, we got two main characters who are called the Blank, and they're really overpowered. Every online game that they play, they win. Even against cheaters. Now, I'm not going to argue human capabilities, but no human is as pixel perfect as a computer. So that's a pretty strong instant blow to the logic of the show. Then it continues by showing the main characters, who are a 17-year-old boy, Sora, and 11-year-old girl, Chiro. And they introduce us to the girl as she's sitting on the ground and her camel toe is showing. That's not something I wanted to ever say in my life about an 11-year-old. So not only is it stupid, but it's also stupid smut. Oh, right. They're also brother and sister. So, stupid incest smut. Not to mention that they're so good at everything and on the top of their game, but they munch down rations and don't sleep. To be a pro gamer, you need to eat and sleep well, because if you even miss like one night of sleep, your brain power is halved. So there's no chance they would win against anybody like that. Crap, okay, I'm overanalyzing. The thing is though, why I'm nitpicking this show so much is because it's held in such high regard. I expected something as polished as Death Note or Steins Gate. This is not related. But it's just as flawed as any other show. But I'm fine with lowering my standards to mediocre anime levels, so let's start this off with a clear mind. Sword Art Online, K-On, Elfenlied. I'm good now. Well, starting off, the dynamic between the brother and the sister is pretty cool. And needs like these do exist in the real world, so it's all fine and dandy right now. After winning an intense online match, they're challenged in chess, but with a catch. If they win, they get to leave their normal world and go into a gaming world, which they prefer because, you know, the normal world kinda sucks. They do end up winning, and we get a fantastical transportation sequence which teleports them into the new world. And it's an awesome sequence because it magnificently captures the new world that they arrive in. Just from the fact that they're falling from the sky, the viewer gets an overview of what's going around every part of the world, the little knickknacks and trinkets and giant chess pieces. Also, I'm pretty sure that nobody can argue when I say that visually it looks stunning. The colors, the character designs, everything is so nice. This is where things get interesting. Tet, god of this world, gives a brief overview of how things work, and there is absolutely no killing or even violence allowed here. Everything is solved through games. Kinda sounds like Yu-Gi-Oh! Well, it is, except with less violence and card games. But even though violence isn't allowed, you can bet your race piece in a game, which can reduce your entire race to the status of livestock, making these protective rules obsolete and killing you a possibility. Which seems like kind of a big oversight. So the point is for everybody to have fun and not kill each other, right? Yeah. But our ruler can place the livelihood of our entire race in a game. Sounds about right. Isn't that kinda contradictory or something? Hey, don't hate the player, hate the game. One thing that I noticed, or rather didn't notice, were the main characters. They aren't unapologetically bad to the degree of SpongeBob if he were an actual sponge in the sea, but they don't stand out either. If you have seen the show, what do you even remember about them, honestly, except that they're really capable? And I found that for these kinds of shows, those kinds of personalities might be ideal. They don't overshadow the world with their charisma, but still retain some of it not to be too dull. Though, that being said, has there ever even existed an isekai where the main character isn't a basic boy? I set up a different camera just to get this shot. Why? I don't know. I'd say that the side characters are more interesting than the main ones. We got a playful god, a smart angel, and Steph. She's a tsundere, but even that fact is parodied in a way. And how they handle her introduction to the main characters is wonderful. She's a normal person, daughter of a deceased king, and she loses a game to the blank. Sora makes her fall in love with him, and she kinda does. That's how she turns out to be a tsundere. Because inside, she doesn't actually love him, but because of the game world, she's forced to love him. That scene itself portrays how the world works and how far the bets can be pushed. But oh boy, the thing is that this show is stupid. Plain stupid. Might as well call this Deus Ex Machina the anime. Which of course isn't necessarily a bad thing, since sometimes it's good to let loose and relax and just turn your brain off and enjoy some trash. But the thing is that it does try to be smart. Throwing politics in your face, updating classic games with new rules, and then making up weird strategies by the main characters to make it seem like everything was pre-planned. But having Sora and Chio plan everything ahead 5 steps beyond everybody else, to the degree where they declare that even before they started playing, they've already won because of their plans, is pretty idiotic. And it would be more acceptable if it happened once, maybe twice, but it happens in the majority of the games. They talk about the plan and how to execute it, and then when it fails in the game, they reveal that they actually had a backup plan, which was the real plan all along. But when that fails, and the stars align and everybody's in the right place, they reveal their actual master plan, which already included having won the world. Pretty much. Whew. But okay, let's talk about the games themselves now. Good news, they're classic games that everybody knows. Bad news, they don't stick to those classic rules. Now that might seem awesome in itself, updating classic games with new twisted rules to make them more interesting. But no. It's more like no rules. For example, they play chess, one of the more noble games out there, held in high regards by the elites, but the twist in the rules here was that the pieces had their own will. Okay, that could be kinda interesting, kinda like how it was in Harry Potter, but after a couple of rounds it became plain insulting. Rules stopped existing completely, and it just ended up being a streaming match, and the one who shouted the most ridiculously inspirational thing won. Pieces changed side constantly. The other team was cheating the whole way. There was no actual strategy behind moving anybody, and of course at the end, blank won, because they always win. But it didn't have any good reasoning behind it. The games here are on the same IQ level as the games in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because this match could have ended as well by saying, "Oh, I believe in the heart of my chess pieces." I propose a quick game of Yu-Gi-Oh! But the cards have personalities and souls and shit, so expect them to act quirky, okay? Okay. Wait, you can't go through a whole pack and choose what you want. I summon all my monsters. Without any sacrifices. What is this, the anime? I attack your life points directly. I haven't even begun yet. Haha, you're dead. I got your clothes. This is why people don't play with you. One of the rules of this world is that if you catch an opponent cheating, you'll win the match. Which makes you think that they're gonna use that rule somehow, but nope. Everybody cheats all the time, and nobody calls them out on their BS. And yeah, the games are kind of fun to watch and unpredictable, because you don't know what happens. But that does change pretty quickly, because once you realize that the plank literally is undefeatable, it starts becoming a bit boring. The thing is that no game, no life isn't bad. Yeah, I picked up a couple of major things that could ruin the enjoyment of any show, but they don't really. The crappy games are overshadowed by how good the pacing is. They introduce new characters, new games, and everything so quickly that you can't even start thinking about how big of a mistake you made by watching it. And once you start to realize the pattern that's appeared with the blank always winning, the show's already over because it's only 12 episodes. The world itself is one of the best magical worlds I've ever seen. Instead of basic ass humans and basic ass elves and basic ass orcs sometimes, they have humans, elves, animals, angels, gods, and 11 other races. Like holy crap, it actually manages to get the scope of the world right, and the world building is also kinda good. We meet 3 different races throughout the show, get to know their backstory, their personalities, and all of them are so charming and cool. And even the games don't stick to one type of game, it's not just card games or classic games. They have chess, they have coin tosses, they have simple one-off bets, dating simulation, shoot 'em ups. If you let yourself be pulled in, you're gonna enjoy it. And it's even funny at points, and throws references everywhere like it's nothing. But it does beg the question, does it hold up to other isekai that's come out recently? Some of the more obvious tropes are still there, yet others are exaggerated way beyond normal limits. Like the main characters are still overpowered, but it's 2 characters instead of one black-haired little boy. The fantasy world exists, but it's not your typical medieval fantasy world, but more colorful, and I'd say much deeper than you'd normally get. A harem does exist, and it's super edgy, much more than usual. The entire show contains 4 episodes out of 12, which contain bath scenes, and they don't have any point whatsoever. The only reason for them is fan service. They somehow even include tentacles in those scenes. They go out of their way to sexualize everything. Even making an angel come from Sora stroking her wings. Because of course, that's a thing. In conclusion, yeah, the show is completely overrated. But also, it isn't bad. It's a good show where you don't have to deeply invest yourself in, like the Death Note. Pretty good for a casual person. Kinda like how the Big Bang Theory is for the mainstream audience. Utter, complete trash, but the majority of people love it to bits. For a newcomer to the anime world, I wouldn't recommend it. Too many cliches that might turn them away from anime altogether. And just the first episode is so awful, like, come on, she's underage. But for a casual watcher or an elite, it might be an okay show to watch, and it's kinda sad to say that it's still one of the top isekai out there, since the quality of these shows is so low that everything that's kinda remotely unique could be in the top 10 or in the top 5. I'm not sure if I could even name top 3 right now. Is there even good isekai shows? I mean, Overlord was Log Horizon was Sword Art Online was I mean, some could argue that Hack Slash was good, and okay, that was Anyways, it would mean the world to me if you hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you soon.